Wigan's tale was quite unusual. What do you make of what he found, Holmes?
Well, it seems to be 2 large cats, a couple of birds, and for some reason a flower.
Wiggins did a good job.
You may remember from the previous game, we can actually access the archives, which has a section for encyclopedias, newspaper articles, and for research. So this is a coat of arms, and I guess that will be under marks and symbols. My coat of arms is fairly interesting. It's of a dragon with a knife in its head. It's quite lovely, really. Wait, the royal potato cans? I may look at that later. This sounds like a nice person, actually.
Here it is. So this man could be Lord Marsh. Huh. A lord who hangs around in a public house. Let's pay a visit to Lord Marsh. We'll pretend that we're interested in his charitable activities.
Mr. Holmes, you have a visitor.
Oh, just ask him to wait.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. This young lady refuses to wait for anything.
What?
Father!
Caitlin!
Miss Caitlin's boarding school was flooded. Everyone was sent home.
As if it could smell any mustier.
My word, how is it possible that you have grown up so fast?
You'll be staying. Wherever will we put you?
Holmes, I'll give her my room, of course.
What do you have to say, Kate?
You're on a new case. A respectable lady who's being blackmailed? Or is it a love story between a prince and a suffragist?
However did you guess?
You will tell me, won't you, Father?
You may remember Caitlin from a previous game. If not, in the Testament of Sherlock Holmes, Sherlock rescued a young lady who he eventually adopted. And if you go back to the Testament of Sherlock Holmes, it does have a nice montage at the end of them both growing old. Well, Sherlock growing old and Caitlin growing up. But for those who don't know, this here is Professor Moriarty's daughter. None of this is actually canon, but this is continuing on with the storyline. It doesn't matter which option we choose here.
But you'll make Watson jealous.
All right, then. Have fun. I'll go and unpack. Will you help me, Mrs. Hudson?
Right, now it is time to pay Lord Marsh a visit. But I promised someone that I will make sure that Holmes is dressed. So, what shall I choose? A nice doctor's outfit? We've already seen the bandit outfits in a previous game. I think that I will just stick with the casual one for now. Anyway, we are going to pay a lord a visit, so we may as well dress smartly. Welcome back to the Hanson scene. I finally it's loaded in nicely. So yes, for those who haven't seen it, the loading screen is now of a Hanson and gives us access to the casebook, which means we can cut down on some downtime while the game's loading. Well, The area's loading.
Holmes, about Caitlin.
Yes?
She has grown up, hasn't she? Don't you think it's time to tell her?
To tell her what, Watson?
Well, about her father.
Never. Absolutely never. Do you hear me?
Holmes, you were responsible for the death of her father. You owe her the truth. She is old enough now.
I would lose her. Can't you see that? She must never know, Watson. Is that clear?
Holmes.
It won't and can't happen.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a fair few weeks since I completed the Testament of Sherlock Holmes. But Moriarty was running a factory with a couple of notable people, whose names I actually forget right now. And the aim was to feed the poor and overthrow the crown. But Moriarty and his colleagues were poisoning the soup, so people were going slightly crazy. Now, Moriarty at the end was holding a gun and pointing it towards Holmes and Watson. And if I remember correctly, one of Moriarty's colleagues, I know it's not the right word, but that's what I'm going with here, who was a doctor, happened to become poisoned himself and then jumped on Moriarty and tore his throat out with his own teeth. So Holmes really isn't responsible for Moriarty's death. But anyway, artistic license and all that.
Come in, please.
Good day, gentlemen. Welcome to my home. How may I help you?
Good day to you, Lord Marsh. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson.
This guy looks like he's from an 80s pop group. Yeah, he probably hasn't slept much, but he does seem quite unwell. I mean, he's covered with a blanket and looking worse for the wear. I'm not sure what he would be hiding right now. Lord March's state of health. Yeah, I doubt this is a cooking recipe. Daily dose of painkillers, tightness in the chest and a shortness of breath. I'll look at those in the Hanson when we leave here.
I hope we're not disturbing you. You are with your physician?
Yes, this is Dr. Reuben Fisher. But no, please, I'm intrigued by your visit, Mr. Holmes.
I'm glad to hear it. The last thing I'd wish is to upset the patient. Lord Marsh, can I just say that I admire all of your efforts in assisting the poor of London?
Yes. It is a war that we must fight, on our streets and now, too, from my home. You must surely have noticed those bags full of items, clothing and books for the unfortunate.
That is inspirational. At my own humble level, I too try my best to support those in need. I thought perhaps that I could be of some assistance.
I don't see why not. I already have the valuable assistance of Dr. Fisher, who happens to be my personal physician.
It's curious. Your face seems familiar to me, Doctor. Oddly, I'm associating it with Whitechapel?
Well done. You are right. I do occasionally frequent a few hostelries over there, would you believe it? Not that I am a drinker. But there, dressed as a working man, I can approach the other fellows to see if they might be interested in a special job.
A special job? May I ask what you're referring to?
Certainly. Since Lord Marsh began his special education program in 1889, he foresaw that such people would need an occupation of some kind. And so, with or without education, we propose these opportunities to work with Lord Marsh. It offers the less fortunate a chance to help make London a better place.
That's remarkable.
Yes, indeed. In order to truly see, one requires vision, yes, but also insight, and Lord Marsh has believed this since he was a child.
Oh, Dr. Fisher makes it all sound so romantic. Let's close this topic.
What's going on with his ear? It's bright red.
Forgive me, Lord Marsh. You're looking very pale. Might I offer Dr. Watson's assistance?
That is kind of you, but I feel confident that I can provide Lord Marsh with the care that he requires.
How long have you been like this, my lord?
I'm fine, Dr. Watson. Don't fuss. It's only influenza. I'll be better in a few days. I can feel it already.
Yeah, I think this guy is lying. You don't really... Yeah, you won't really have a physician, painkillers, and a journal of his health, just for flu.
In that case, why are you taking such powerful painkillers?
Excuse me, what do you mean?
Mr. Holmes is referring to the pills on your table.
I'm sorry, but that's a medical confidentiality.
Oh, okay.
Lord Marsh believes that he can help all these poor people.
Is there something else that interests you?
Yes, those painkillers.
A provision dealing with the paupers of Whitechapel. Lord Marsh, hunting with his friends.
Ah, my dear comrades, Lord Collins and Lord Harrington. If it wasn't for this godforsaken English malady, I'd be with those rapscallions right now.
All in due time, my lord.
Last year, 3 orphans were put through medical college. Thanks to Lord Marsh and the special education program, a great many poor people will have a second chance in life.
Some papers. That wasn't exactly covert. And I believe there is one name that stands out, and that is John Strobridge.
John Strobridge. I've seen this name before. It was on a missing persons poster. I can't quite work it out. Do you have any idea as to the number of people who might owe you their lives?
Oh, don't embarrass me, Mr. Holmes. But indeed, these people have become like a family to me.
That would be a fairly large family, I imagine.
Yes, the list would be longer than any of your short stories. As for how large, well, Fisher is the one who keeps record.
Might we take a glance at the list?
I regret that is impossible. It is confidential. I stand firm upon that point, Mr. Holmes.
I quite understand. We'll most certainly send a donation towards your educational program. I shall take my leave then. I thank you both, and I wish you all the very best, gentlemen.
Likewise, Mr. Holmes.
Okay, let's go and see Tom again.
Mr. Holmes, do you have any news about my father?
Tom, not so fast. I wanted to ask you if you remember your father mentioning anything about a special education program.
An education program? No, he only talked about a special job.
What's this box, Tom?
Oh yeah, I just found it, Mr. Holmes. It was ever so well hidden. I've no idea why.
Well done, my boy. It could prove very helpful. This oil can also be used on weapons. A ramrod to clean a rifle.
I wonder what's on this paperwork. There must be a reason why they were hidden with these objects. Je suis pressed Wolfjack. Now my French is pretty poor, but I think this says I am quick or I am nimble.
Wolfjack. Looks like a military badge. Tom, does your father own a rifle?
A rifle? No. If he had, he would have shown it me.
I'm sure that he wouldn't have shown it you. I need to find this rifle.
And there is Detective Vision.
This scrap of cloth was used to oil a firearm. Tom, does your father have any other property?
No. Well, at least I don't think so.
I have to take Toby. He'll take a sniff of the oil, and we'll find that rifle.
Oh, we will. Let's go and get Toby. Right, I best do this now, as I did a recording earlier, and I forgot. So, we have this military badge, which I guess is here.
Here it is.
Now that icon in the corner is letting us know that we can deduce some clues, but I'll look at that later.
Come on, Toby. It's time for you to earn your keep. Watson?
I prefer to visit Lord Marsh. I'm worried about the condition of his health.
I like that we have this picture of Toby in the corner. But where is he? It's almost like he's in our. It's almost like he's in our pocket. Go on, Sherlock. Give him a stroke. You heartless fiends.
Search, Toby, search.
So just like in the previous game, we need to follow this. I believe it's a scent. Oh, this is so good. I love this segment. I wish there was a bark button.
It's only a garden shed. Let's go on. What's in there?
Good boy.
Nothing that could interest me. Just some old things. It's not here. Old things. Ordinary storage. Just rubbish.
Oh, hello.
Tom's photograph. Let's try to get inside.
Now, the lockpicking puzzle in this game is a lot more forgiving than the previous one. All we need to do here is to get this... I don't even know what to call that, the sticky out bit. We need to get it through the gap that you can see. We have 4 different tools here, and I'll select the wrong one. This will just show the mechanic basically. There we go. So we need to lift it just high enough to let it pass through to the next segment. It's a lot easier to show you the mechanics sometimes than trying to explain them. I think I prefer this to the previous game's lockpicking puzzle, as that got rather ridiculous towards the end.
News clippings on Lords in the education program. Why are they here?
If you're reading this letter, then it means that I'm dead. But Tom didn't receive the letter, so his father could still be alive.
Let's compare this list with the evidence that we found earlier. This is the list of selected participants for October's special education program. According to this poster, John Strobridge is missing. Let's compare them with people from Hearst documents.
Now there is one easy fix for this one. If you look here to the right next to Thomas Kelly and William Thatcher's names, there is a cross and a date. What this signifies, we don't know right now.
This man appears in both documents.
And it's the same for every name on the left-hand side.
All the people in Marsh's document are marked and dated in George Hearst's files.
John Thomas. Yes, I know that was very immature of me, but still. So that medal really is George's.
This case must have been full of cartridges. A map of Epping Forest. There was something on the stand. There was a rifle here. George Hurst took it with him.
I believe we have done all we can here. Now it's time to do some deducing. Now, people may remember this from the previous game, but for those new, we need to match up two pieces of information to form a deduction. So, let's select the special education. Nope, special job. And, oh yeah, sorry, and the special education program. And when we match them up, we are introduced to the screen. Sometimes it will give us one obvious option, but sometimes it gives us a choice. And here we need to work out whether there's no connection between the two, or there is a connection. But considering that they are both lists of names, and 5 of those names turn up in the education program, there must be some sort of connection. Let's do the special job again, and preparations. So he left on a special job, and he left with a rifle apparently. Yeah, if you're going to take a rifle with you, then you're probably going to expect violence. So yeah, some choices that we make just result in just this one piece of information, which makes life a bit easier for us. Right, special job and farewell letter. I don't think he would have written a letter saying that if you are reading this, then I'm dead. I'm sure he would have left some sort of will or a goodbye letter. But George did seem like he may return from this. So yes, the paupers list is the same. Well, the names were on the education program and the paupers lists. Yeah, it seems like George is more than interested in this program. Mr. Hurst knew. I have just spent several minutes racking my brain of why I can't move to the next segment. I forgot to connect 2 more clues. The paupers list and the refusal of information. There we go. Now we have an objective. Let's go and sneak into Lord Marsh's house.